There's nothing new about producers sampling off of vinyl, we all know about this. And finding samples online has become more and more commonplace nowadays. But there is one secret source of sampling that has resulted in some of the best beats of all time. But here's the thing, almost no one realizes just how powerful it is. So today I'm going to explain what this sampling source is, just what makes it so much better, and how you can use this in your beats. Now let's just get this out of the way. What I'm talking about is sampling live renditions of songs. Now you might be thinking, that's not all that interesting or amazing. But let me show you exactly what makes the sampling method so good and how the smartest producers have all done it. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly what you've been missing. Now let's start by breaking down a song that inspired Kendrick Lamar to make his first mixtape, and he even performed the song in honor of the artist. The song I'm talking about is Genesis by Prodigy.
Don't forget your soul's involved. That same energy you put out comes right back and revolves. I'll smash you. Done.
This song has one of my all-time favorite beats. First, let's break down how this beat was made, and then talk about why the secret sampling source was so central to how good it is. Here is the sample that was used. Again, notice this is the live rendition of the song, not the song that appears on the album. So first, this Genesis song is pitched up and essentially looped. And from here, a somewhat bizarre drum pattern is built, and overall there's something unusual happening with this song. It's kind of hard to see here, but for whatever reason, the song has 0 credits in the liner notes. There's no official producer listed for this beat. But what makes me think that Prodigy himself produced this is this strange kick placement. With just how many of these kicks are layered underneath snares, that makes me think a producer would have never come up with this idea to create something as unusual as this. Now let's talk about why this beat sampling the live rendition of this song instead of the original was so important. Oftentimes when artists perform their songs live, they'll have to change certain instruments for the live version. For example, here's the original version of the song off of their album. You can hear in this version that really unique synth becomes a flute in the recorded version. So if we were to use this version of the sample for our beat, it's still a cool beat, but it loses a lot of that darkness. So if you ever come across a sample where you like the musical phrase but you're not happy with the instrumentation used, try looking for the live rendition instead. But there's another reason why live renditions offer a better sampling material at times. This is best exemplified by the song Made Her Say, produced by Kanye.
She wanna have whatever she like. She can if she...
So here Kanye decides to use a live rendition of a Lady Gaga song, Poker Face.
I'll get him hard, show him what I got.
Interesting to see Kanye sampling something like a Lady Gaga song here. By the way, I wonder what Kanye's opinion on Lady Gaga is.
I like some of the Gaga songs. What the f does she know about cameras?
Alright, thank you for that, Kanye. Anyways, here's how the beat was made. First we have this great sounding drum loop. And in terms of the sample, we have a similar approach to the last beat. The sample is pitched up and pretty much looped again.
Pop, 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 poker face, pop, pop, poker face. Pop, 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 poker face, pop, pop, poker face.
Now let's compare this beat to if we tried to use this, the original version of the Lady Gaga song.
Pop, 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 poker face, pop, pop, poker face.
You can hear in this version there's just a lot more going on. So if we were to try to use this for our beat, it would pretty much end up being an absolute mess. Pretty awful. So you'll notice that in many live renditions of songs, there may be less instrumentation, resulting in an easier sample to use and manipulate for your own beat. Now there's a third reason why live renditions can be a better source of sampling. Let's take a look at the next beat that helps shows this off, Hovey Baby by Just Blaze.
Touch the untouchable, break the unbreakable, shake the unshakable.
It's Hovey, baby.
Now this beat samples a live version of a TLC song, this one right here. Now, I've broken down a Just Blaze beat in the past, and I've talked about how much weird stuff was happening in that one. This beat is actually no different. Just Blaze does a lot of interesting things here. First off, it's a 5-bar loop, as you can see. But the structure of this beat is what's so interesting to me. For example, the amount of odd snare placement and how this loop has this up and down energy is just fascinating to me. Now let's hear how this beat would sound if the original version of the song was used. This beat would not be possible if the album version was used. Why? The album version doesn't have this musical idea in it at all. The album version is pretty much just this straightforward R&B beat throughout. So this is yet another way live renditions can be a better sample to source. Sometimes entire musical ideas appear in the live versions that just don't exist in the original songs. But there's another thing to point out here. In our first example, the Genesis beat, even though the instrumentation between the two versions of the sample were different, using either still resulted in a full sounding beat. But that's not always the case. For example, let's look at another Jay-Z song. On to the next one.
Hove on that new shit. Niggas like how come? Niggas want my old shit.
A beat produced by Swiss Beats, which uses a live rendition of a popular Justice song, Dance. So this beat was made using some kicks, some claps, and the sample is used in this short, repetitive fashion. But this is where things get interesting. Let's hear how this beat would sound if we use this recorded album version here. You can already guess it's gonna sound vastly different. So you can hear based on which version you use, the sample will have a different amount of fullness, which can result in one beat sounding much more complete and the other still requiring you to do a lot more work and adding more sounds into it to get a fully finished beat. But there's something interesting that you may have noticed about this beat. Even though the song is called On to the Next One, the sample itself actually never says On to the Next One. It says Under the Spotlight. This is an example of the McGurk effect. I did a full video on this and how producers have used specific samples to trick the audience into hearing something that doesn't actually exist, just like in this beat. You can find that video next to me. But yeah, this sampling idea is something that you can think about the next time you're making a beat. Live renditions might be a better choice and can result in a better beat. So if you like this video, hit like and subscribe. But other than that, I'll see you next week. Bye bye.